As a young girl, I had such a deep spiritual curiosity, but there was a disconnect between the information I was looking for and the information my parents and my church were able to provide me. Soon I was a grown-up, lost in a big world with very little knowledge and feeling disconnected. I explored various paths, but none made sense. And the more spiritual it claimed to be, the further away I felt from God. My formal studies led me down the path of anti-Semitism, and I had to ask myself what impact it had on Christianity. Same doctrine, and yet as a Christian, I had no understanding of my Jewish roots. Hitler had a particular hate for the Jews. He motivated people to murder millions of people on the premise that the Jews killed Jesus. Hitler was a narcissist that took the law and people's lives into his own hands. He chased power and world domination. His actions were not very Christian-like at all. But to get a clearer picture of the origin of anti-Semitism, we have to explore the era of when Yahshua was crucified. During those days, the pagan Roman armies became annoyed with the Jews for rebelling against them and for complaining about the taxes that they didn't agree with. In 66 AD, the Romans became very frustrated, and under the leadership of Emperor Nero, the first Jewish revolt started. Nero had a notorious reputation for being incredibly cruel. He crucified the disciple Peter upside down and set him on fire. This is landmarked by St. Peter's Cathedral in Rome. Nero also murdered and tortured those who were closest to him. As far as the revolt was concerned, the Jews were encircled by Roman soldiers, where their food supply was cut off, and they had to resort to eating their own children in some cases. After the first revolt, there was peace for a few decades, but in 132 AD, the second Jewish revolt started. An estimate of 350,000 Jews were murdered during this time. The Romans had a very successful empire in which they practiced their pagan beliefs. Jews, as well as Messianic Jews or Christians under this reign, had very little rights and could not hold certain positions in the Roman government. The cruelty of the emperors didn't subside. Constantine was a pagan, like his emperor father, but his birth mother was a Christian. Constantine battled to find footing between the belief systems, and even though he believed in Yahshua, he lacked a deeper understanding of the Jewish or Messianic Jewish, Christian customs and beliefs. He hosted the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. He had several objectives, of which one was to give Christians more rights and to allow them to hold government positions again. He then tried to strategically almost fuse Judaism and paganism into one happy family. This is what I now call modern Christianity. Constantine was conflicted between paganism and Christianity and was objectively trying to find a solution as to how to bring about peace. Where over 1,000 experts were invited to the Council of Nicaea to objectively try and find solutions, the Romans didn't want objectivity. They wanted power. And with this, they set about creating a sadistic, dark period of time. Anyone who were either a Jew or Messianic Jew, Christian, was simply killed for asking questions or practicing their beliefs. The Roman Catholic Church changed fundamental concepts and violated human rights. They amended the Bible to elevate the church leaders to a godlike status. These new gods proved themselves to be incredibly evil. Where Jews had a very connecting and open-minded approach to God, the Romans had a very clear do-as-I-say approach. Their rule brutally tortured and murdered millions of Jews and Christians who were opposed to their teachings. Jews managed to find a way to educate themselves, but the Christians were now fully immersed in this hybrid belief system. Here believers never questioned, they just simply followed. To date, many Christians unknowingly still celebrate pagan festivals that has nothing to do with their belief system. In the 15th to 16th century AD, a priest with the name of Martin Luther came onto the scene, and through his studies of scripture realized that the doctrine was inaccurate and flawed. He started a movement to slowly liberate and educate those who have been deceived. We refer to this as the Protestant movement. But even this movement to date has not been enough to reunite Christians to their full Jewish roots. The price that both Jews and Messianic Jews, Christians, paid over hundreds of years have been vast and immeasurable. The earth was drenched in the blood of Jewish and Messianic Jewish people. Unity was lost, hatred was formed, confusion was rife, and we disconnected from God. I never grew up with Jewish customs, but through a lot of research and dedicated people, I was finally able to conceptually understand my roots. The confusion I once had as a little girl became flooded with understanding. The dark pit I once saw as religion became less institutionalized and more spiritual, and integrated deep knowing. My curiosity can now be appeased.